Well, good morning from old Route 66. We're starting out today on a section that's not quite abandoned, but is sort of lesser known. Not too many people stop here in San Juan, New Mexico, at least not on the old Route 66 portion. But it's these quiet stretches of the old Mother Road I love the most. You could see just how wide Route 66 was through this tiny little town. That's how much traffic used to go through here. But when they built the interstate, they built it just a few hundred yards over that way and completely cut off all of the business that would have been here on this little road, leaving the actual old Route 66 portion quiet, silent, decaying. But as much as I'm absolutely in love with the sort of ghost buildings and ghost writings of San Juan, and there are several of them, this wide highway meant there was all kinds of little shops and gas stations and things that are now fallen into disrepair. But beautiful abandoned building photography is not the only reason we pulled off into San Juan today, because somebody in town is trying to lure Route 66 travelers back to San Juan with a new attraction. It's not ready yet. It's not finished yet, but look at this. Do you know what this is? It's the world's largest flip-flop. Oh, that's right. Coming soon from the creators of the San Juan Yacht Club, which, by the way, might be one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's the world's largest flip-flop, which, as you can see, is still under construction out here, but it's coming along. Dude, look at this. As far as I know, San Juan's never had an attraction like this, like a world's largest flip-flop. Why world's largest flip-flop? Who the heck knows? Who the heck cares? To me, this is worth pulling over for just to see the attempt in progress. Look at this. Someday this might become a famous attraction on Route 66 for all we know, and we're getting a sneak peek at it. Look at this. There's the materials there getting ready for use. It looks like they're actually recycled, maybe from old abandoned Route 66 buildings. You got the wood here, the wood frame for your flip-flop. The 100th anniversary, the centennial year of Route 66 is coming up in just a year and a half. So they're getting ready with a gift shop, the flip-flop, the yacht club. This is genius. This is exactly the kind of thing that would get me to pull off the interstate if I was going down it. And it's exactly the kind of homespun creative thing you want to see when you're traveling down Route 66. Dude, look at the size of this massive rope. Dude, that's gonna be the thing. The flip above the flop, you know? Awesome. Now I'm on sort of a recon mission on this Route 66 trip. I'm going in and out of all these little towns looking for things that have changed, how much things have changed pre and post 2020, post pandemic. I've got my son London with me, so we're doing a little father and son, cats in the cradle road trip a little bit. And I too am getting ready for the 100th anniversary in my way. I plan on being out on Route 66 quite a bit over the next couple years, along with some other historic highways. So I guess you could say I'm getting back to my roots. Get it? Well, because we're on sort of a speed mission this trip, we've been going on and off the interstate, a little mix of back roads and interstate travel, like most people have to do when they're on their Route 66 adventure. And east down this road from San Juan, Route 66 actually turns into a dirt road for miles and miles and eventually reaches the border with Texas in a little town that straddles the line called Glenrio that we are heading to right now. Now you'll notice that we took the interstate to get there, and that was for a recon reason, but the travelers on old Route 66 would have ended up here. This is Glenrio, New Mexico, and this is Glenrio, Texas. Behind us, way back there, is the dirt road stretching from San Juan all the way through Indy and here to the border with Texas, which is and always has been marked by this marker. And this is where we take our first step into the Lone Star State. Now the interstate is just beyond that marker. It is not far away. But the second it came along, this jumping little border town pretty much began to disappear at that moment. And it's been disappearing piece by piece ever since. When I came out here for the epic Route 66 series for Random Land 7 or 8 years ago, there were more buildings then than there even are now. Right here behind that marker at one time was the State Line Motel. Now there's no trace of it. And then just on the other side of the border, just inside of Texas, this was the State Line gas station and cafe, originally built in 1953 by a man named Homer Arisman. And the last time I was here, this still had a roof. The Longhorn Motel behind it, those units still had roofs. This has totally basically disappeared except for the bare concrete walls, and this breaks my heart. Look, there's even less of the sign up there. What that used to say is First Motel in Texas on this side, and then of course from the other side, coming from Texas, it would say last motel in Texas, because there was a whole wing of the motel that used to come down this way, and the back wall of it was right on the state line. Dude, this is actually heartbreaking. This was a Phillips 66 gas station. I'm sure we'll talk about that more on Route 66, but of course the 66 came from the popularity of the highway. 1953 it was built. Whoa, and look at the remains of this old mid-century 1950s signpost right here, just lying on the ground. You see, someone's been touching up the paint because there's still a Harlequin diamond down here, old school Phillips 66. But this over yonder, this was the cafe. And I remember still getting inside of here where you could see where the counter was and the seats were. Somebody has come out here and completely cleaned it out. I mean, this is so strange. There aren't even old remnants of wood, nothing. Oh, good thing someone locked the door. Granted, it's been a few years since I've actually come this way on the old portion of 66, but I wasn't expecting this, man. No way. This is a bummer. Oh man, this is almost surreal. This is why I'm always harping on that the time to do Route 66 is always now. This is exactly the kind of place that you always take for granted, that it's gonna take decades to decay. It'll be there forever and ever. Oh, look at this. The old motel office still has a roof. But just in the last decade, I've seen so many buildings disappear from this town alone. And I mean, unless somebody did all of this with the intention of putting a new roof on and restoring it, I can't see this lasting much longer. Here's a little view inside the office. There's still actually a wooden floor in here, which surprises me. Actually, this was probably the residence of whoever was running this place. This is crazy. Now, for the longest time, this town only had one resident for years and years and years. One lady who stuck it out, who lives just across the road on the New Mexico side, and I can still see her house way over there. Still looks lived in too. Then in the last 20 years or so, another guy moved in on the Texas side down the road over there. Before we even take a peek at that, there's some other buildings that have disappeared. There was a State Line bar and a State Line gas station over here in New Mexico. And you'll see an old school looking building over here. This was not here before this business. Since the last time I was in Glenrio, New Mexico has legalized cannabis. And there is now the Glenrio smoke shop here just over the border, which has apparently replaced some of the old historic structures that were falling down over here. And, you know, whatever you feel about cannabis or herbal remedies, as I like to call them, at least the building looks very old school. It actually kind of fits in. And I mean, I guess all things considered, it's not much different than crossing the border to get to that State Line bar that you used to get to. And now on Route 66, this would be your first stop if you're a Texan, where you could get some of some herbs. Now there's still some slabs and concrete remnants and retaining walls, but for the most part, almost all those other gas stations have been torn down or come down. I think I could still see the remains of the Angel House, built in 1910, way back there, old stone and wooden house. But pretty much, Glenrio now has two buildings. They've got the smoke shop stop, they've got that lady's house across the road, and that's it for Glenrio, New Mexico. Say goodbye to New Mexico, London. Get a peek at the last couple of ruins in this state. London's taking his first steps into Texas. This is cute over here on the Texas side. You have the Little Juarez Cafe over there. See that little building that says diner? You still just read that on the top. And then the 1950 Texaco station, if my memory serves. But the dude that owns this property and lives in the house in the back has a kind of a reputation for not liking visitors. Lots of no trespassing signs on everything, which, seeing the destruction of everything else, I find kind of totally understandable. So I like to keep a safe distance from this property, but it's awesome looking. And you know what? If it preserves it for the next generation to come and restore, then hey, more power to them. At least it's still there. You'll notice that most of the gas was on the Texas side because apparently gas was cheaper over here, but most of the bars were over on the New Mexico side. Just that little bit of difference between taxes or whatever can make a huge difference to business, right? All right, we're gonna get back on the interstate now. All right, we're gonna say goodbye to Glenrio and head back towards the interstate now. All right, well, we're gonna say goodbye to Glenrio now and head back to the interstate, which for large stretches of Route 66 in the panhandle of Texas is built right over the top of it. And we're gonna try to make as good a time as we can because we have a serious Route 66 milestone ahead of us. And I, for one, am very excited to get there. All right, we've made it to the tiny town of Adrian, but though the town may be small, it is a really big deal because this exact line right in the middle of the old highway, this is the exact halfway point of Route 66. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, oh my God. Oh my gosh. London, you did it. Get excited, boy. Smile, get excited. You made it. You did half of Route 66. And look at this. That means you get to partake in the official Midpoint Fun Pick photo opportunity. Check it out, 1,139 miles to Chicago, 1,139 miles back to downtown Los Angeles, where I was the other day at Exoticon. Dude, and we've been doing this pretty lightning fast because we only left home 6 days ago. So 6 days on the route, and we're already halfway there. But that's the good thing, is that means we can take a little more time and slow down for the rest. All right, get your arms up here, boy. Let's take a fun pic. We're sending this one to Grandma. We did it halfway. Gosh dang it, I love Route 66, and we've made it to the Midpoint, which means we've also made it to the Midpoint Cafe, which is one of the places John Lasseter and the crew came and helped inspire the Pixar movie Cars. Notice you see all these radiator springs tributes. This is one of the places they came with historian Michael Wallace, bless you. And, wait a minute, the door's locked. Oh no, they're camping. Well, they're doing something. Maybe they're on their lunch break, but where else would you go to lunch? Well, anyway, it was the old owner, Fran Hauser here, who helped inspire the character of Flo and Flo's V8 Cafe in the movie Cars. The character, not the design of the cafe, obviously. Fran herself hasn't been here for a while, so we were never gonna meet Fran today, but I thought London was gonna get some grub. And as you can see through the window, it's one of the cutest places to get a meal, but that's okay. I know a place. I know a place. Well, looks like we're gonna head on over next door to the Dream Maker Station. Oh, they got ice cream sandwiches, London. I know you like those. Check out this car over here with all these signatures from Route 66 travelers all over it. All right, I've officially signed the car. London's signing it as well. They're handing out paint pens for the purpose, so this is not vandalism. Side and get some swag. Oh, the lady in there, who was super nice, by the way, was just telling us about the new record set up at a certain steakhouse in Amarillo, a certain steakhouse somebody might be going to later. And I've never stayed here because it's always been sort of midday when I get to the halfway point, the Fabulous 40s Motel, but I've always appreciated this sign because it's so, so true. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's a pun, get it? You guys get it? I'll give you a second. It's a garden bed. All right, well, most people might stop at the Midpoint Cafe, then they head back on to I-40 on the interstate. But if you keep cruising the rest of the way through Adrian, there are some sights to see. First of all, you've got this tiny old school Phillips 66 station, like the little cottage kind. The first one we've seen so far on our trip. That is amazing. Someone's put it up on blocks over here. Hopefully it gets preserved. Check out that old sign. As someone who lives in Southern California, I'm very jealous of people that have the space to go and get something like this on a truck and plop it on their property. So cool. But then right next door is an even more impressive, more historic, and even more legendary Route 66 property. This is one of my favorites. I'm so glad it's still standing. There was originally a place here called the Cozy Cottage Camp, all K's, it's a whole 1940s thing, that had a cafe and gas station that burned down in the mid-1940s on this site. But in 1947, freshly retired World War II veteran and farmer Bob Harris bought this place and built a new cafe and station here. And when he was looking for surplus building material to help him construct all this, keep in mind, this is 1947 into 1948. All these military installations across the country were being decommissioned because we had won World War II. He found some military surplus equipment to help him complete the building, which forever afterwards has been known as the Bent Door Cafe, for what I think are pretty obvious reasons. Look at this, this whole corner of the building, all that angled glass and that strange bent door. This was the top bent portion of an old aircraft control tower. It's bent like that so they could look down at the airfield. He actually sold the business not long after he opened it up, and it then became Tommy's Cafe. It had different owners. And then it's that same old familiar sad story. 1972 came along, and with it I-40, which bypassed the highway right here. That meant that Tommy's Cafe fell into disrepair. There was talks of the building being torn down, and I think in the 90s, Bob Harris actually bought it back, going, I'm gonna reopen, I'm gonna get it back open. Somehow that really never came to pass. Then in 2006, Roy and Ramona Kewart, I think that's how you pronounce their names, purchased the property. They were gonna restore it, but so far, it has not reopened yet. I mean, hey, there's no judgment for me. I know it must take an incredible amount of work to reopen someplace this, particularly if you don't actually reside in the town. As you can see, looking at downtown over there, Adrian's not very big. It must be hard to find plumbers and welders and building repair folks. There is still an official Facebook page for the Bent Door. I haven't seen any recent updates. The place is full of stuff. Maybe they ought to get the American pickers out here, you know, help them with a little fundraiser. But I mean, as you can see in here, the ceiling is not in the best condition. This is definitely a big project for someone. Hard to see through the dirty windows, but there's all kinds of old garage tools and stuff still in there. Sometimes people with the best of intentions will buy a place like this, and then the project becomes financially not possible or practically impossible, or disaster will happen in their personal lives. But that doesn't mean it's a failure, because at least somebody purchased it and shored it up for now, although the garage isn't looking too stable. Sometimes folks like that still play a really important role because they manage to preserve it for the next people. And like I said, at least it is still here for the moment. You can still walk up, take pictures with the Bent Door. It's one hell of a photo op, I'll tell you that much. You have those old gas pumps and those old service station lighting fixtures. It's a piece not just of Route 66 history, but a little bit of World War II history. Bring the family, bring the kids. See it now, because you never know when something like this will disappear, as we saw in Glenrio. All right, we got a couple more iconic things to see along old Route 66 in Texas today as we make our way towards Amarillo. So we're hitting the highway to the next town of Vega, Texas, which, as you can see, is in a more forward state than Adrian. Boy, Julio would love this place. I wonder where Julio's been. There's more buildings, more gas stations, a modern truck stop, still plenty of romantic ruins, some more modern than other sections of Route 66. And you've got your little cafes and your little motels. And look at this. This is the kind of thing you'd never find in a guide. It's the Oldham County Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum, and it's free. You just walk right in. Look at that, right on the side of old Route 66. I mean, Lord knows they got plenty of farm equipment out here near Amarillo. The signage has seen better days, but this is way cooler than just leaving it out in the field or something. Yeah, pretty much all the signs are the same way. Some of them are somewhat legible. But look at this, they got this shed full of rad old tractors. These signs are under the shed, so they're a little more legible. This one says 1931 Farmall tractor, 1929 Case. Now see, this is the kind of stuff you have to drive down the little roads and look for. I've never seen this before. I would have never known this was here. You're not gonna find this in Atlas Obscura or whatever. It's just a local small town sort of dump of farm equipment, which once had some informative signs. I wish I knew more about farming, so I kind of knew what I was looking at, but this is cool. A lot of sharp stuff to hurt your fingers on, man. Being a farmer, especially back in the day, must not have been easy. Now, it's funny doing this trip with a 17-year-old because I got to pick my battles, right? Some things like this, yeah, it's probably better to let the teenagers stay in the car and enjoy the air conditioning. Look at all those brands right there. Dang, I should have brought mine from Knott's Berry Farm out this way. Most stuff on Route 66, you really can see from the car. You don't have to go as slow as we've gone. And even I honestly feel like I'm going at lightning speed doing all this, half of it in just 6 days. But here's the thing, a lot of people ask me, because they know I've been out on the road a lot, oh, do you think my kid will be bored? Yes, at times your kid will be bored, especially if they've grown up with video games and iPads and cell phones and friends everywhere. At times you're gonna have to compromise, you're gonna have to let them stay in the car. And then at other times, they're gonna be surprisingly engaged and excited about things you would have never expected. And here's the main thing. One, they're gonna remember those memories with you for the rest of their life. Even if they don't appreciate it now, it will sink in later. Two, a lot of this stuff is rapidly disappearing from the American landscape, or at least somewhere back in their heads, back in the past, they got a sense of America. And three, long after the sarcasm and eye-rolling years have gone by, they're gonna remember your passion for cool, neat old stuff. Yeah, not everybody has kids and not everybody wants to bring kids on a trip like this, but if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, I say do it. You leave them in the car for certain things like this maybe, but it more than makes up for it when all of a sudden you see them get super stoked on something you never expected. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. This is why you gotta get out in Vega. Look at the Magnolia Station from 1924. This actually predates Route 66, and it's from an earlier era where Route 66 would actually have all these crazy right turns through the towns that it was connecting. And so this place was literally already open when Route 66 came along. It has literally been here the entire time Route 66 has. Magnolia Petroleum Company is not something most people from California have ever heard of. And that's another part of Route 66 that's so important, is that you're learning about you know, different local towns, small town living, another way of life. There's lots of historic information set up in the windows, which is really cool. Kind of hard to see in through the glare for the camera, but you get the idea. Old visible gas pumps, so you could see just how much gas you were getting. Look at this, there's some kind of culture museum open across the street. You don't hear a lot about Vega, Texas in the Route 66 guides. It's not the sexiest place for the postcard industry, but whatever kind of road trip you're on, make sure you pull off the interstate. Check out the little small towns, because you never know what the heck you're gonna find. This is so strange and random and fun. Look at this, they got a cell phone holder so you can get fun pics out here. I don't know if you're supposed to pay admission. We never saw any place to do that. Look at the size of this cattle brand right here. Is this the world's largest? I'm not sure, but it's gotta be up there. Oh my gosh, it is! It is the world's largest branding iron. So I really should have said, would you look at the size of that branding iron? Gosh, boy, get excited. Show me your excited face. Don't you even think about moving a muscle, Billy the Kid. You know what you'll get. Please don't kill me, Easter Bunny. I kept the Sabbath. I put out eater baskets every year. You darn tootin' you do. There we go. There's the museum proper on this little side street. Look at this cute little car right there, an old Willys. Oh, this is cool.
Literally, we got the best AC in town. Welcome, partner.
Oh, I love this, man. I love seeing local history. Ooh, right away we got roped into using the historic printing press with a postcard.
See where that stamp is?
How old did you say this printing press was?
28 years old.
128-year-old printing press. Look at that. Oh, no kidding. That is cool. Well, these display cases came from the Alamo in San Antonio. You never know what you're gonna find out here. There's a picture of them actually in the Alamo. London likes the guns. He's our resident gun fan. Man, you got everything from Cowboy Donald Duck to arrowheads. Wow, look at that. This car right here is more than 100 years old. You got Lizzie from Cars. She could have been cruising down the route when it first opened. She could have gotten gas at that gas station we just saw. Boy, this is so cool. These homegrown museums are awesome because they're just acquiring the stuff from the local area. If you're just blasting through on the interstate, you're not gonna get a sense of the culture. You've gone through the area, but can you really say you've traveled there if you don't talk to the locals, if you don't see the stuff? There's your World War I machine gun. You don't see that every day, or at least I don't. You wanna shoot it, don't you? Look at that tucked away. There you go. The real deal, the real McCoy. Oh, and look at that ancient, hand-painted Route 66 map. Oh, that's cool. They even have their own coloring book. That's awesome, and you can't beat free. You can leave a donation if you want. And speaking of free, not only can you check out the inside of a giant wind turbine blade, which, look at this for scale. Look at London going up there. These things are freaking massive. But if they're open, and if you ask politely, ooh, echo, echo, they will give you a free military Humvee ride. All you gotta do is hope they're open and ask politely. All right, we're gonna climb up in the back seat here. We're just gonna climb on in. And then they've got some young ladies from town that are gonna show us the ropes. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
I'm gonna hold on a little bit because it might get a little bumpy, okay?
Okay. Oh, you weren't kidding. Okay, he's smiling now. Yes! Dude, this is awesome. How many times a day do you do this?
A lot. It's fun.
And you're still smiling, so it still must be fun. Whoa! Whoa! That is so cool. This is just as good as Disneyland, and I would know.
Okay, no more water, guys.
At first we felt like, oh, we're gonna bother them if we ask for the ride. Now I see you like it, so.
Oh yeah, we do.
We feel better. Okay, so this is original 66. Well, no wonder the gas station's right down here then. But you don't get to drive a Humvee down Route 66 every day, London. Dude, that is so sick. They even let London drive. I'm like, he's only 17 and whatever. Ah, it doesn't matter. This is Vega, Texas. We do what we want. It's museum property. Trust me, son, I've been all over the country. It's not every day that you get girls driving you around on a free Humvee trip. This is rad. Oh, and by the way, that museum annex behind the Humvee is way bigger than I thought. And everything's free. It's all just donation. They'll drive you around. They even gave us cool little souvenir dog tags and talked about the town. There's only 800 people here. That's less than my high school graduating class almost. Like I said, you don't see a lot of postcards beckoning you into Vega, Texas. but it's totally worth the stop. Vega is like the secret Disneyland of Route 66. You got your Indiana Jones adventure slash Mr. Toad's Wild Ride slash Jungle Cruise there with the water. You have your Frontierland all around you, and then right over here in downtown, you've got the real Main Street, USA. Those girls are London's age, and they're like, oh, you don't really need your driver's license out here. We live on ranches. We've been driving since we were 13. And it's like, yeah, you live in a town with 800 people, and there might not be any secrets out here. It is a totally different experience than I had growing up. And you know what? I'm almost jealous. Or maybe I only love America so much, like these parts of America, because I grew up in the suburbs, you know, outside of LA. I don't think so. To me, I think there's just something special about small town America. All right, so there's your attraction almost no one's ever heard of. And now we're going to an attraction almost everyone has, if not heard of, at least seen. So we're gonna barrel down I-40 now off the back roads and get back on the main highway, because we've got a mission to undertake. We've got spray paint in the car, and some of you know what that means. We're back at the world famous Cadillac Ranch. And boy, oh boy, is it busy out here today. I've been coming out to Cadillac Ranch since I was 17, at least 23 or 24 years. And already, I'm gonna tell you, I see something new. I have never, ever seen this before. And I've been out here in the summer, I've been out here in the winter. Never have I ever seen a weird official Cadillac Ranch truck selling ranch approved spray paint and sweet merch. This is bizarre. The guy inside told me they've only been doing it for about 4 summers, so I guess since 2020, that tracks. I was telling London this has basically been the longest gap I've ever spent between visits to Cadillac Ranch because of the pandemic and everything. Pretty much since I've been able to drive. All right, you got the spray paint, then it's time to do the deed. Now, Cadillac Ranch was originally located in a different part of Amarillo, much closer to town, but as the town grew up, the artists responsible for Cadillac Ranch, Chip Lord, Hudson Marquez, Doug Michaels, who were called Ant Farm collectively, decided to move it farther out to the west so it would be remote. The whole idea is that you'd see this bizarre American Stonehenge of these classic Cadillacs, you know, from the golden age, out in the middle of absolutely nothing. But now, once again, the town has been encroaching in recent years. I could see new houses all around on the periphery, although you probably can't see them on camera. And Stanley Marsh III, the money man behind the operation, who had the land for Cadillac Ranch, he passed away in 2013. So all the original guys have nothing to do with it anymore. Hence, I think that's probably why the merch truck. I mean, we're living in a different time. It's definitely a little bit different than the original vision, but I mean, back then, who could have predicted social media? Who could have predicted summer crowds lining up to a trailer to buy spray paint for this thing? I was telling London, I remember the first time I ever came out here, this field was sort of half flooded. It was full of cows, and we didn't even make it all the way to the Cadillac. True, I've never been out here sort of in summer vacation in recent post-social media years, but I've never seen it this crowded all at once. This is crazy. This is definitely a different vibe from any other day I've been here. Lots of kids, lots of families, everyone's spray painting the dirt because they can't get to the cars. Because as you can see, it must have rained at some point, because there is basically a pond at the base of the Cadillacs, and only the base of the Cadillac. So this mud is really deep and sticky. You can see some people are up to their knees, some of those kids over there. Somebody tried to create like a log bridge of spray paint cans to get towards them. Normally, this is the type of thing London would step right into and not care, but he only brought 1 pair of shoes with him, and this is like deep hole liquid underneath the mud, suction-y, suck the shoe right off your foot kind of mud. So even though we brought the spray paint out with us, I think this might be a day where we just look at Cadillac Ranch and don't participate in this normally more interactive art piece out here. But look at that, London. It's America's Stonehenge. I guess it's far less mysterious when they have a little truck there and there's kids and families running around all over it. Then the sort of postcard view that makes it look like, wow, look at all these mysterious Cadillacs standing up alone in the middle of the desert. One thing that definitely hurts the vibe is littering everything all over the ground and spray painting all over the ground and the road in front of the fence. I mean, most people wouldn't spray paint on anything normally, but you give them an inch and they'll take the whole road. Look at this. This is the people's protest out here because of the mud puddle. Weird. I'm a little bummed out that we can't get to the Cadillacs. We're not gonna destroy the shoes on this first visit of London's to Cadillac Ranch, but we're actually staying in town for 2 nights, just like 20 minutes down the road. So technically we could come back tomorrow and just see if we can come and do this spray paint and then just go back. So all hope is not lost. Plus, we always have to drive all the way back to LA. To be honest with you, I kind of salute the dads that are like, get in there, take your shoes and socks off. We're getting in the mud, we're spray painting this thing. I have heard at least 4 moms, no joke, going, I don't know if that's a good idea. And honestly, I don't know if it's that good of an idea either, because I've seen what's underneath that mud right there, and it's a lot of litter. You never know, sharp pieces of metal from the cars. Probably not the best mud to stick your bare feet into, but hey, at least you know there's no poisonous snakes or anything like that. Thrown off a little bit by circumstances today, but it's still awesome being out here at Cadillac Ranch. There's never a bad time to come to Cadillac Ranch, even if there's ice, snow, or cows out here. Since the 1970s, when it was put up on the side of what was a decaying Route 66. That was probably a lot more of a social commentary on a decaying 1950s superpower with the old gas guzzler cars while gas was getting more and more expensive in the 70s, right? But I think even since the beginning, people took the sort of possibly meant to be sort of edgy message of Cadillac Ranch and turned it on its head and went, look at how fun this is. Look how fun and quirky America is. And I'm sort of with them. You can talk about the decay and the fall and the darkness all you want, but America keeps rising. People keep on bringing their families on road trips, and they keep on spray painting their names on whatever they can get their hands on. For all that time, it's been sort of America's Stonehenge. It's kind of a symbol of not just the mother road, but all American tourist attractions, roadside art. You frequently see it mentioned among like tourist traps, even though there was nothing for sale here. It was strictly a piece of art until that truck came along. Which is a little weird. It's like putting a gift shop right next to a Banksy or something. Or it was, but like I said, over the last couple of decades, it's become maybe the most famous roadside attraction or piece of roadside Americana on earth. I mean, all over the world, people have seen images of this. And I'm talking long, long, long before social media. It's been parodied in movies and cartoons and comics of all kinds. People from all over the planet go, where are those Cadillacs? Where are those cars in the ground? And it's so famous and so iconic, it's obviously inspired a lot of clones. It's got a lot of children out there. Lawnmower Ranch, Slug Bug Ranch, I've seen Tractor Ranch, I've seen every kind of version or take on Cadillac Ranch you could possibly imagine on the highways and byways of America and in people's backyards even. I'm talking from New Hampshire to Kentucky to Florida, all the way back out to where we're from, Southern California. People understand what this is. I gotta admit, it's kind of nice seeing a bunch of families out here, whether they're just from nearby, from Amarillo, or they're on a road trip together. I think most of these families must be on road trips together. That actually does warm my heart quite a bit. I mean, after all, I'm out here on a road trip with my own son, right? But it's definitely not how I thought your first impression of Cadillac Ranch would go down. A flooded Cadillac Ranch you can't get to with lots of kids running around, but it is what it is. That's what makes doing multiple trips down Route 66 so interesting, because you never know what you're gonna find. I mean, here we are at one of those roadside attractions that everyone in the world pretty much is familiar with. But 30 minutes ago, we were at a roadside Route 66 attraction no one's ever heard of, getting a free freaking Humvee ride. So you never know what you're gonna get out here. Yeah, it's impossible as the wind. Should have just done the 66 and left the route out of it. Yeah, it was too windy to really even get a good Route 66 on the trash can, but okay, next time we come, we're doing a big shield on one of those roofs over there. Rock and roll! Anyway, we made it halfway down Route 66, which means we deserve a break, which is why we're headed into Amarillo now. And this is crazy. 11 years I've been traveling the country, uploading videos. Literally millions of people have seen them, or well, you know, various episodes of them. And literally for the first time ever in my life, I got an email from a guy, and I'm not gonna use his name just in case he doesn't want me to, who works for this hotel chain called My Place Hotels. Here's the weird thing. I've actually stayed in this exact one in Amarillo before. Back when I did my big Route 66 series, I stayed here because they had laundry and I wanted to do my laundry. Well, and it was brand new and it was a grand opening and it was, you know, the cheapest hotel in town also. But I got an email from this guy saying, hey, I know you're going out on the road with your son. I work for this hotel chain. If you ever need a room, if you'd like a free room, I could probably hook you up. London and I were actually already gone, so Allie was talking back and forth to him. I go, you know what, man? I've been to one of those in Amarillo. I think it's the only one on Route 66. So if he wants to hook it up, I'm not gonna say no. I mean, just like everything else, the price of hotels has gone insane. A hotel that used to cost like 80, 90 bucks a night, which would be like the really nice one you'd stay out every few days so you could really feel like you were really clean and doing your laundry and all that kind of stuff, is now sometimes $250. Obviously, it completely depends on where you are and where you're staying. Just that's just the cost of everything, right? I mean, go to the grocery store, everything's more expensive. Anyway, so you know me, I love the mom and pops, but every once in a while I do like staying in a modern hotel, and this one I really liked last time because the My Place things, which I kept calling MySpace last time, I was like, oh yeah, MySpace hotel, I could not get that out of my brain. I still have trouble with that. I guess I'm showing my age. These guys, as I'll show you in 1 second, they're meant for you to stay in for a little bit longer than just one night usually. Although you can just stay for just one night if you want, because they are set up with their own little kitchen, look, an oven, a real fridge and freezer, a full-size microwave, coffee maker, ice maker, a nice little table, 2 beds for the 2 of us, and an easy chair, which I just want to fall down into. And like I said, ironing board, and look at that, some laundry facility. So that way, you know, if you have a business meeting in town or something like that, there's a place where you can iron your suit, you can actually make yourself dinner, which I really need from time to time. If you've never met me before, hi, I'm Justin. I have celiac disease and colitis and a bunch of other intestinal issues. My plumbing don't work so good, Ma. I normally travel with all my own food. I can't eat out at restaurants, even if they have gluten-free stuff. The cross-contamination is too mighty for me. So I try to stay with places with microwaves so I can just grab something from Walmart, and then that night I can heat it up or whatever, and it'd be safe. But every once in a while, it's nice to make something a little bit more substantial. So we actually have this place for 2 nights. We got hooked up with it, which is the first time in 11 years that has ever happened to me, which is awesome. I've always said that I would totally do full disclosure, and if I ever got the hook up on anything, I would totally shout it out and let everybody know that's what happened. But no, every other hotel I completely pay for myself. I've been offered many weird advertising and sponsorship things on this channel. I don't do that. They did not ask me to film this. In fact, they said, you don't have to tell anybody about it. But full disclosure, that's how this went down, and I'm not gonna complain, and London's certainly not gonna complain. Look, he's already using the free Wi-Fi. Oh my gosh, feels good to be out of the sun right now. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna go to the grocery store. I'm gonna grab some food, and then we're gonna go to another big Route 66 attraction, this time not flooded, and London's gonna get his first proper Texas meal. And in honor of the boy's first time in Texas, there's nowhere better to feed him than the classic, the original Big Texan Steak Ranch restaurant. Originally opened in 1960 by a guy named R.J. Lee on Old Route 66. Later in 1971, when Interstate 40 came along, they built it right on the side of the new freeway. There was a devastating fire, and it was rebuilt into this gargantuan masterpiece in 1977. This is the place that is home of the famous free 72-ounce steak, where you have to eat the steak in a certain amount of minutes or whatever, and you get the free steak. It's been parodied in all kinds of cartoons, King of the Hill, you name it. It's expanded into a motel. They used to have a museum on the property. It's a big place. It's a wacky place. It's a crazy place. And it's pure Texas, baby. Oh my Lord, watch out for Big Tex Rex! It's been 7 years since I was here and filmed the full tour of the crazy gift shop and the restaurant and all the accoutrement inside. And of course, for all the reasons I just explained to you, I've never been able to eat at the Big Texan, but finally, my son can. Finally, one of us is gonna do the 1 hour 72-ounce steak challenge. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna be doing that, and I'll show you why inside.
Let me just open up the door here.
Whoa, ho, ho, look at the size of this line waiting to get a seat. Dude, the Big Texan is bumping tonight. You gotta put your name in. There's a little bit of a wait. Only about a 30-minute wait, believe it or not, because the restaurant's so big, but look at this. While you wait, you got a shooting gallery. You got a sweet shop with plenty of fudge. This guy likes it. You got Pappy and Zoltar. There's a big old Texas saloon if you want to get a beer while you wait. You can check out the wildlife. They got buffalo and moose and big old longhorns. I guess you could use the modern conveniences, but why when this is here? Why not light up old Sparky for a buck? Or you can do what I like to do best and head towards the gift shop. But first, check this out. This is what you have to eat to win that free 72-ounce steak. First of all, there's this steak, which is bigger than my hand, and I got an 8.5-inch long hand right there. So that's a big old hunk of steak. Then you have to eat these shrimp over here. You have to eat the little muffin thing. You have to eat the whole salad and the baked potato, and you have to do that all within an hour. Now, we just heard today that there's a record. Some lady ate all of that in 4 minutes, and they said she was a tiny little lady. Somewhere, supposedly, they now have a picture of her. She's a Hall of Famer. We're gonna have to look around for that later. I need to find out what that lady looked like. Oh, dude, it is so crowded in here today. I want to say, would you look at the size of the gift shop, but you can't even tell how big it is because it's so labyrinthian. It's so packed floor to ceiling. You have got every kind of Texas souvenir imaginable in here, every kind of cowboy souvenir. There's a absolutely enormous live rattlesnake back here in the gift shop. Holy cow, I was about to say, there's cowboy hats. Look at the size of that one. Looks good on you, boy. They got manly cowboy items, girly cowboy items, magnets, keychains. Look at this, man versus steak. Big Texan challenge. They got everything from mugs to puzzles to jackalopes. Look at these stuffed armadillos back here. Of course you're gonna have toy guns in the Big Texan. Of course, horse. Oh, look at the little outlaw clothes. Look at London. Look at all the toy guns you could ever wish for. You could be a Wild West outlaw. You can be Spider-Man and cap somebody. Little plastic cowboys and Indians, old school. I keep wanting to show you guys the t-shirt section, but it is packed. Ultimately, we only have the 30 minutes till he's seated, so we opted for a couple of stickers and stuff. London's getting a t-shirt, but man, this is the most claustrophobic gift shop I've ever been in. Look at this, look at the winners. People do win the free steak, man. Look at these challengers. Bro, and look at the size of that grizzly bear right there. Oh, he's in the red light district. All right, it's almost time. We're almost in. London's gonna get some steak. Wait a minute, I found the picture of the world record holder. Look at it. She's right down there. Look at 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Molly Schuler? Dude, I cannot believe she ate all that. 4 minutes? She only weighed 125 pounds. She's tiny. Dude, that's a lot of meat. And this display one's not plastic. Like, that's a slab of beef right there. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but does this mean she ate 3 of them in a row on the same day? 4 minutes, 18 seconds, then 7 minutes, 29 seconds, then 8 minutes, 13 seconds? Oh my gosh, as this says, that's a lot of bull. That's one lady who can pack in the meat. Man, I'm glad last time I came it wasn't this busy, so I was able to give more of a complete tour. This time it's more purely about giving London his first Texas steak. All right, here we go, this is it. Oh my gosh, I forgot how gargantuan the freaking inside of this place is. Looks like we're getting a table upstairs. And then, dude, if you think the restaurant's big, dense menu. Look at this, the Double Duke, the Amarillo Diamond Cut.
I think I want the Double Duke.
What?
I don't know, it's the biggest ounce you can get.
For what? No, I think the biggest one you can get is the Legend. 72 ounce, buddy, you wanna get the 72 ouncer? Okay, now look at this. You get to take home these cups right here that my Dr. Pepper came in. Now, supposedly they have a gluten-free or sort of gluten-free menu. Obviously, I can't risk it because cross-contamination, so hopefully they don't get mad at me, but they do sell steak seasoning here. I might get some of that. Look at this, they now have a Big Texan village with cabins and wagons you can stay in. There's a lot to check out next time I come back. Dude, this place is rad. Look at all the old artifacts on the wall. There were even more in the old location before it burned down. There's a little cowboy band serenading people. Look at this balcony up here. Look at that Big Texan butter tray, and then look down below. Look at the size of that place. Look at the stage down there. That's where you sit if you do the Legend Challenge. If you're gonna go for that whole 72 ounce steak challenge, you have to sit on that dais right there. I see somebody attempted it, so I see some plates down there. But I don't see a lot of people. Last time I was here, there were multiple people going at it at that table. See the countdown clocks behind it? Dude, nothing like eating dead animals in a building full of dead animals. I just had to pop downstairs really quick to show you that dais a little closer. Look at that, dude. That's where people sit to do the challenge. You can actually watch it when people do it live on YouTube. They have a live stream on YouTube. Look at that. There's the countdown clock. Look at the size of that steer head up there and all the branding. And then this is where they cook the freaking steaks. They're cooking them right behind the guys doing the challenge. Or gals, as we saw, the reigning champ is a little lady. Just goes to show, one, big things come in small packages, a la my little wifey Allie. And two, you can never judge a book by its cover. All right, back upstairs. I feel like this video devolved, like we started strong. Well, look at all this detail on Route 66. Look at the old mother road. And then as time went on, so we're like, look at this snake. But give us a break. We just came 1,000 miles. We've been filming every single day. We've been in the sun. We're tired. Oh my gosh, don't touch it yet. Look at that. Look at everybody. Look at the size. Oh, that's silly. He's trying not to laugh. I was just giving him a hard time. Like, you've been stuffing yourself on bread? How are you gonna eat it's a Double Duke, right? He's got, or Double Dutch, Double Duke? Double Duke. Got the mac and cheese. He's got them Texas mashed potatoes and gravy. And he's got the Double Duke. Let's see how much he can eat. Oh man, they butterflied that thing. That is 2 times the steak you think it is. That's a big boy meal. Good thing we have a fridge back at the room. All right, you've got 1 hour and your steak's free. If not, you owe me the price of the steak. Go. I just didn't know it's gonna be that big. It's the size of the whole plate. Dude, he's decimating it. He is calmly and peacefully decimating it. I keep cracking up. Like, you're never gonna finish that. I was like, you're gonna eat the sides? He's like, yeah. He looked at me like I was an idiot. Like, of course I'm gonna eat the sides. What are you, psycho? Okay, this is crazy because this says 1 out of 10 men will actually complete the 72-ounce challenge, and women is 1 out of 2. The odds are 50-50. Take that, men. Look at that. Who's the real man? The ladies, dude. They're knocking it out of the park. Gotta woman up if you want to beat the men with the women. I'm confused. The facts. Okay, I legitimately thought you weren't actually gonna eat all that. I thought you were like snowing me. Dude, he's doing it. He ate nothing for like 2 days, and then look at this. Dude, he's a beast. Oh my gosh, the last bite. Oh my gosh. Are you gonna have any sides now, or are you full? Oh my gosh! He just goes, if there was more, I'd eat the rest. All right, well, we've finally begun our Texas journey. There is a guy down there making the attempt. He just sat down to the steak. We're not gonna be able to see it because, of course, we just finished up. However, I just realized when we go back to the hotel, we can actually load up the live stream and see if he makes it. Good luck, Frank from Vermont. All right, we wish that fella from Vermont good luck with this steak challenge, but as for us, we're pretty much cooked. We got more adventures ahead on old Route 66. Make sure to check out all the links below. Do the thing, smash the stuff. Come on, you guys know what to do. Do I have to tell you? London's full. And I'm tired, and you know what? We've done our duty. It's time to go home and sleep. See you next time. I'm a roving cowboy, riding all alone. Tumbleweeds around me, sings their lonely song. Nights underneath the prairie moon, I ride alone and sing a tune. See them tumbling down, laying them to the ground. Alone in the tree I'll be found, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed. Cares of the past are behind, nowhere to go but I'll find, just where the trail will wind, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed. I know when night has gone, that a new was born at dawn. One night, rolling along, deep in my heart is a song. Here on the range I belong, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed. I know when night is gone, that I knew was born at dawn. Alright, keep rolling along, deep in my heart is a song. Here on the range I belong, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed. Yay! Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that was great, Elvis. That was awesome.
This is Mark.
Hey, Mark, that rules. You guys are awesome. Oh, we're halfway there. Let's try this again. Okay. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, oh my God. It's hotter than I thought it. First of all. Look enthusiastic, my kid. Thumbs up.